everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be testing out some new makeup techniques on my face today, and I'm also going to be trying out a few new products. So if you want to see, then just keep on watching. So today I'm going to be trying out the e.l.f. Natural Glow Lotion, and this is my first time using this product and it's super affordable. So I'm all about trying out affordable products for you guys. So I'm going to be applying it to my face. And it feels nice and hydrating. It does have a little bit of a sunblock type of scent, which I do not mind because I actually like the way sunblock smells. But I'm going to use a generous amount. I definitely like e.l.f.'s hydrating products. Like all their hydrating products that I've used I actually enjoy. I feel like it did a really good job of hydrating the skin. It doesn't feel too heavy. It just feels nice and dewy now. So I'm going to be trying out this Dr. Brandt's Depuffing Eye Gel next. And I'm just going to be applying a little bit underneath my eyes. So I know that it has a little bit of an orange tint to it, but I'm really hoping that it's going to help with color correcting. It did dry down already, so we're going to move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to be applying my Smashbox Photo Finish So Chill Coconut Primer Water. And I love the way these smell. And I feel like that Glow Lotion plus this spray is going to be very hydrating. Like my skin feels amazing right now. So I really like that. How did I already get makeup in my hair? So now that my skin is prepped and primed, I'm going to go ahead and start to prime my eyelids. And I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Nude. So I was just feeling like sitting down with you guys and filming kind of a chatty video. The old me would have hated to do videos like this. Like before, when I would sit down and talk to the camera, I would just feel so weird. And it honestly takes a while to get used to just like talking to nobody. But I feel like I'm starting to finally get it down. I'm just going to be priming my eyelids, nothing special. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my eyelids using the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And I'm just going to quickly set that in place. I just take a loose brush, fluffy brush, and I just go ahead and wipe that powder away. And I'm going to go in with some tape as usual. But yeah, when I was brainstorming different ideas for filming, I really thought it would be a good idea to just sit down and think of certain topics that I want to talk about while I'm getting ready. So for today's video, I really wanted to talk about like believing in yourself, and I also wanted to talk about having like a positive mind. So I'm going to be kind of chit-chatting about that while I do my makeup. So for today, I'm going to be using the Morphe 35V palette. Let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like on the inside. It's a really, really gorgeous palette. This is my second time using it. And the first time I used it, I honestly loved how it looked. So I'm going to be going in with it again today. With is the shade right here. And this is the shade Knockout. And I'm going to be putting this on my brow bone to highlight that area. Believing in yourself is like one of the most important things in life. I definitely didn't believe in myself when I first started doing makeup, or even before I started doing makeup. Like I always knew that I had a passion for it, but towards the beginning I just kind of like turned to other people, and a lot of people were telling me like, oh, you're not going to make that much money, like it's not going to be a secure job, this and that. And so for a long time I just kind of shoved it under the rug, and I put my passions aside because I thought that like if nobody else believed in me, like how can I possibly make it happen if no one's telling me that it's possible. But I really quickly learned that if you do that and if you live your life to please other people, like that's the quickest way to be unhappy yourself. So next I'm going to go into the shade Turned On, which is this shade right here. It's like a orangey nudie transition shade. I'm just going to be putting that shade in my crease, going in back and forth motions. Everything happens for a reason, and I think that I was in that position for a reason, and it really taught me that I have to pursue my passions in life, because I just realized that I was like taking classes and going to school and doing everything that everyone else wanted me to do, but inside I was very unhappy. So I just realized that I need to put myself first, and I need to put my passions first. And I truly feel like that's the only way in life to be happy, is to put your passions first and to truly do what you love, because when you do what you love, work doesn't feel like work, and you'll show up every day just grateful to have the job that you have, and just, you have to be grateful. I feel like when you are very grateful, it's hard to be unhappy, and it's hard to be bitter about the opportunities that other people are receiving that you aren't, because when you're grateful, you're just focused on the things that you just feel make you feel blessed. Like for me, it's just like having a roof over my head, or like having food every single day. So next I'm going to be taking this mustardy shade right here, and I'm going to be putting that in my crease to deepen it just a little bit. And I'm just going to be buffing it out on the outer corner, taking it to the center part of my crease only. I'm not bringing it in all the way to my inner corner, because for this type of look, I want the smokiness to be focused on the outer corner. I think it's super important to have a really positive self-talk. Like, for example, if you look at yourself in the mirror, like if you say like 5 negative things in your mind, you're just going to continue to do that, and it's really easy to get in a cycle of just negative self-talk. And I think that it's really important to, whenever you have a negative thought, counteract it with a positive thought. That's something that I've been doing recently, and I feel like it's really helped me with my self-confidence. It's helped me view things in a different, more positive way, and I highly recommend you guys to try that out, because it definitely made a huge difference for me. Alright, so now I'm going to go back into that fluffy brush just to merge everything together. I'm taking the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH33 blending brush. So I'm going to go into the first shade that we applied in our crease once again, just to smoke everything out and blend it more. So next I'm going to be going into this deeper brown burgundy shade right here called Addicted, and I'm just going to be putting that in my crease with this defined angled brush. And I'm just going to be putting that on the outer edge of my crease once again. If you think about it, it's just kind of like, what is the point of being negative? Like if you just have negative self-talk, it's kind of like, what's the benefit of doing that? It just brings you down, it makes you discouraged, it makes you view yourself differently, and I just feel like if you just change your state of mind, like you could just have such a more fulfilling life. And that's something that I've just been trying to teach myself lately, because I honestly struggle. Like sometimes I have days where I just don't want to do anything, and I just don't really believe in myself that much, and I feel like everyone has those days, like it's normal. But I think that the stronger your mind is, the harder you're able to work, and the best you're able to be, if that makes sense. So I've just been working on myself. Obviously it's a little bit easier to be consistent here on YouTube when there's 2 people posting to the channel. So that's been really nice. I'm going back into the JH40, the little tapered brush, and I'm going back into the transition shades that I used previously, and I'm going to blend out that line a little bit. But yeah, today I'm just testing out kind of like a neutral, I want to do like a neutral type of eye, and I'm testing out new techniques on my face. And I've just been watching a lot of YouTube, and I've been just kind of thinking about how I want my makeup to look differently. Like I always like to switch up my techniques after a certain period of time. I just feel like you'll only grow as an artist if you just switch it up and are always trying new things. Like I feel like I could always learn more. So we're gonna be testing out new things today, and yeah, I'm really excited about that. I actually have like a Frankie update for you guys. We think that we found his home today, so hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm definitely gonna miss him, but it's a lot of work having more than one dog. So, not gonna miss that part, but definitely gonna miss him. And it's hard, it's really hard to trust like whoever you're giving your dog. It's like your dog, you know, even though it's like we were just fostering him. Like I still feel like he's always going to be like a part of us. Like we definitely want to get like an album book and put like pictures and a description of each dog that we foster, so that like in a few years we can look back and still have that memory. So I think that's a really good idea for us to do. Let me know if you guys want to like stay updated on all of that, if you guys want to see like the next dog eventually. I think we're gonna foster like once every 6 months or something like that, because it is a lot of work. I'm gonna go into this black shade right here. It's called Little Black Book. So I'm just gonna put that on my outer V just to add some depth. So I'm just putting the black on the outer corners, mainly focusing it on the outer V area. We're not going to be taking it onto our lid just yet. I like to focus all on the crease first, and then I move on to the lid. And I'm just going in back and forth motions, and this is just a regular defined angled brush from Violet Voss. It doesn't have a number on it or anything like that. So next I'm going to go into this really small kind of buffer brush. And this is from Morphe. Doesn't have a number either. But I'm just going to be further blending that line out. I'm really loving the way that these shades are blending, and I love the pigmentation as well. Next I'm going to be going into the shade Scandal right here, and I'm just going to diffuse everything. I'm just going to be going in back and forth motions just to really blend out that shadow even more. Even though I want some definition in the crease, I definitely don't want like sharp, harsh lines. I still want it to be blended. Alright, so next I'm going to be moving on to the outer corner. I'm going to be taking this little pencil brush right here from Crown Brushes. So I'm just going to be taking the darker shades that we applied in our crease. I'm going to be applying it on my outer lid. Looking back, I can definitely understand like why certain people didn't really believe in this job for me, because it is really difficult to like gain a following on YouTube. Especially I think that when you have a positive outlook on it, it's really easy to be motivated. So I'm just adding this darker color on the outer corner and fading it inwards, and then I'm going to go back into that blending brush that we used earlier and just kind of try to smoke it inward. And then go back in with the darker shade once again to add even more depth. Next, I'm going back into my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm just cleaning up the lid space. So I'm just going to be cutting the crease partially, just on the inner corners. So I went ahead and set the inner lid with some translucent powder, and then now I'm going back into the JH40, and I'm just going to be blending out my crease just a little bit more. Then I'm going to be going into the Too Faced Canary Diamond highlighter, and I'm going to be putting this all over my lid just because I feel like it'll be really gorgeous on the lid. So that's what I'm going to do. I definitely like the way that highlighter looks as an eyeshadow on the lid. It's really, really pretty. Moving on to lashes, I'm going to go ahead and apply my lashes off camera. I'm going to be using the style Barbados today. They are super glam and super dramatic, but they're perfect for taking photos and for Instagram type of makeup. So these are the lashes I'm going to go in with today. I even like wearing these for a night out because they just give that, they just elevate your look and make your look just super glamorous. So these lashes are definitely super, super glam. Don't mind if you can see the lash glue because my lashes are still drying. But do you see how it just changes up the whole look? I know that these lashes are not everyone's cup of tea, but they're definitely my favorite, like full glam, fluffy, curly lashes. So next I'm going to be going into my Next, I'm going to be going into my Laura Geller Color Correcting Trio. I'm using the Salmon shade at the very top of the trio. It's like pinkish orange-y shade. And I like to warm it up on the back of my hand first and just take it underneath my eyes to color correct. And you can even use a damp beauty sponge to blend it out. So just look at the difference between this eye and this eye. this eye just looks more awake and you can't see my deep eye circle. So a lot of the newer techniques that I want to be trying out today are going to be on my face. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the new techniques starting right now. So I'm going to be mixing these two foundations right here. It's definitely not necessary to mix two foundations. That can be really expensive, but I just have two laying around that I really want to try together. I definitely feel like this one's a little bit too warm for me and this one's a little bit too cool. So I'm going to mix the two and see the type of finish that I could get. I'm going to be mixing the Light Wonder foundation from Charlotte Tilbury and the Smashbox Studio Skin 15 Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. It's a long name. I'm going to go ahead and mix those two on the back of my hand. I'm just going to go right ahead and start applying it to my face. So yeah. In a weird way, I'm like kind of grateful for people that have been like very critical of me in my life or kind of judgmental, because it honestly like lights a fire under me to just keep going and to push harder and be as successful as possible, like doing what I love. And honestly, doing what I love and doing what I'm passionate about, like it makes me so happy and so fulfilled, more than anything else that I could potentially be doing in my life. So far, I really like how those two foundations look mixed together. I'm just going to go ahead and buff them out even more on my skin using the Real Techniques 301 brush. And I highly recommend this brush. It's really nice for blending out foundation and it doesn't leave streaks or anything like that. So I did get pretty decent coverage even though I used two really hydrating foundations that are both very light coverage. So I'm pretty impressed with that, but I will say I do not have like problematic skin. So if you have more problem areas that you want to cover up, this may not be like your go-to combo. But now I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques sponge and just blend that out even more. I feel like I want to start buffing products into my skin more. It does take more time and it's a little bit more tedious, but I feel like I want my products to kind of look more like skin on my face rather than just being cakey. So I'm taking the extra time to just blend out everything more than I normally would. So something new that I want to be trying out today is I want to try to apply my cream contour in a more blended way rather than drawing lines on my face. And if you think about it, when you draw lines, like cream contour lines on your face, it just takes more time to blend out the line rather than starting with a little bit of product and then blending it in. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in 6N1 Mocha. So I'm just going to start with a very tiny amount on the back of my hand and I'm just going to start to work it in little by little. I'm going to use my Huda Beauty Face Bake and Blend brush that looks like this. So I'm going to apply the product with this end, the more dense end, and then I'm going to blend it out with the fluffy side. So we're going to be trying this out. So I'm going to start by applying it to my forehead. But I'm pretty much going to be doing like a half circle, so from this eyebrow to this eyebrow, and the goal is to apply as little product as possible at a time, just to get a more blended, seamless look right off the bat. So that's what we're going to be doing. So this is what it looks like on the back of my hand. And I'm just taking my brush and like lightly dipping into it. And I really like that technique because I already feel like it's super blended. Now we're going to go ahead and try to do our cheeks. So I definitely feel like it's a little bit harder to do this on the cheek area. But if you feel like you get too carried away, you could just go back into your beauty sponge and blend everything out. And I think I'm going to go in with a little bit more product on the dense side and kind of stamp it on and then go on with the other side to blend it out. Alright, so now I'm going back into my foundation brush just to buff everything out even more, and I'm also going to go underneath my nose really quick and underneath my chin as well. And I like to contour my jaw right here just to give a more chiseled type of look. So I definitely feel like I could still see like my acne scars right here. So I'm gonna go in with some concealer next. But definitely a little bit of product goes a very long way with that contour because I had a ton of product left over on the back of my hand. So I'm just going to buff everything once more before going into concealer. Alright, so for concealer, I'm going to be taking my Too Faced Born This Way Multiuse Sculpting Concealer in the shade Warm Beige. And I'm going to be taking this one first because it's a little bit deeper than my other one. And then I'll go ahead and brighten afterwards. Just going to be applying that concealer underneath my eyes. And I'm mainly going to be focusing it next to my nose on the inner part of underneath my eye. And then of course if you have any problem areas, you could also go back in to conceal a little bit more. So I'm going to cover up my acne scars right there, and I feel like I have some unwanted darkness right here, so I'm just going to drag the concealer out on the chin, a little bit on the forehead, and a little bit on my nose. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. But I definitely want to start using a little bit of a darker type of concealer because I feel like I have the tendency of using really, really light concealers that wash me out. Alright, so next I'm going to go in with a little bit of a lighter concealer. I'm going to be taking the shade Nude right here, and I'm just going to be focusing it right next to the inner part of my eye. So right here, right there, right here, on the tip of my nose, a little bit on my chin, and that's it. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that out with the same beauty sponge. So next I'm going to be going in with my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder in the shade Cupcake, but I'm not going into a full bake just yet. I'm going to be grabbing the powder and on the back of my hand just kind of taking away most of it and then setting underneath my eyes with whatever powder is left over. And if you think about it, if the concealer under your eyes is wet and you go in with a heavy bake immediately, the powder's going to stick to all of those areas and it's going to turn out a little bit more cakey. So I feel like this is a really good way of preventing that from happening. Taking the Huda Beauty Easy Bake once again. I'm going to be baking down the sides of my nose just to give the nose a slimmer effect. To wipe away the powder, I'm just going to be using my Luxie 660 Precision Foundation Brush. It's actually made for foundation, but I love this brush for removing the powder under the eyes. And I did contour my nose slightly. If you guys want to see a video on that, definitely comment down below. And I like to do really light pressing motions when I remove that product. So now I just need to do my lower lash line and finish up the shadow, and I will be right back. So I took this shade right here and I put it on my inner tear duct, so that pop of highlight that you see in my inner corner. And then I took the same shades that I applied in my crease to my lower lash line, and then I just added some lower lash mascara, so it's pretty self-explanatory. So for highlight, I'm first taking my Anastasia Liquid Glow in the shade Perla, and I'm just going to be applying it with my finger to the high points of my cheekbone. So I'm just going to apply it with a damp beauty sponge, the same one that we used to apply our foundation. And I'm just going to pounce that on the high points of my face. And it's okay if it looks a little bit harsh because when you apply the powder highlight, it kind of merges everything together. So I'm just doing pouncing motions directly over where I applied the cream highlighter. I actually forgot this new technique that I want to try out. So I'm grabbing my Frankie Rose Pro Contour Palette, and it looks like this. It is a little bit beat up because I used to use it a lot. I'm going to be mixing these two shades right here, and I'm just going to be tapping right on top of the under eye. Alright, so next I'm going to be going into highlighter. So for highlight, I'm using the Too Faced Canary Diamond highlighter. and it looks like this. Sophie actually used it in her last tutorial and it looked amazing, so I wanted to use it today. So I'm just going to be going in with my Morphe brush and putting it where I would normally put my highlighter. And I definitely like how it's gold, but it also has a little bit of pink in it as well. Really beautiful highlighter. Now moving on to bronzer, I'm going to be taking my usual, the BH Cosmetics Coco Cutie bronzer, the Brilliance bronzer. It's actually a satin finish, but for some reason it just really works for me. So first I'm grabbing my JH02 brush. It's really thick and it just gives a really nice all over bronze at first. So I'm just going to be putting that on my cheekbones and on my forehead as well. And it just really helps give a more natural looking contour. I definitely want to leave really harsh lines in 2018. So something else that I've been meaning to try out is the Laura Mercier Translucent Glow Powder. So this is more of a luminous powder and I'm just going to apply it to specific areas of my face to give a little bit of a glow, and it's pretty pigmented. Ooh, I just put that all in my hair. Do you guys see that? I'm going to be putting that up where my inner brow is on both sides. And then I'm going to be putting a little bit on my chin. And this is just going to give me a really natural, subtle glow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is super natural. And I don't really like my glow to be that dramatic in those areas. That's just me personally. So moving on, I'm going to go into blush, and I'm going to be using this Laura Geller Baked Blush and Brighten in the shade Tropic Hues. And this is what it looks like. It's really pretty. Applying it to the apples. Also to the center of my nose, my forehead, and a little bit on my chin. And I'm always a little bit generous with my blush because I feel like it is the first thing on my makeup to go. So now I'm just going in with my Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray. It's the cooling and hydrating one. And just let that dry. And I feel like my makeup does last longer when I use this spray. So now I'm just using the Makeup Forever lip liner in number 12. So for my lip color, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in the shade Fair Game. And I've used this lipstick before and I loved it. It's a very light neutral shade. And then I'm going to go back into the lip liner to blend it out a little bit more. And then lastly, I'm going to be going into this lip gloss from Buxom. It is called April. And it's actually a plumping gloss, and I actually really love this gloss because it just makes my lips feel big. So I'm just going to be applying this to the center parts. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!